Welcome to my DC Prep Live because I feel a bit out of sorts for whatever reason about DC. So I'm hoping that if I do what I did for Chicago, which was write down my list and do all that fun prep stuff, I will feel less out of sorts. There's no reason for me to feel out of sorts about DC. I just do. So we're going to hang out. We're going to use all the fun stuff that's inked up. And we are going to make our DC list. And I'm going to talk about why said stuff is on my list. For some stuff it's obvious. For some stuff it's not as obvious. Let's grab these pens out as well. And these two. And I think that's all I need from in here. So for now, I'll close up the folio. I'm sure I'm going to need it. I don't know half of the inks in these pens, but this should just be fun and chill and a bit of a hangout because I need to feel a bit less out of sorts. I'm going to leave 2 pages at the beginning blank for notes. And then let's clip these down. I'm going to use the traveler's clip at the top and the bottom just to hold everything in place. And what do I want to use for my title? I'm not sure. I've got a lot of options. I'm sort of leaning towards the Sailor Music. Oh, now I'm going to have to check my spelling, aren't I? There we go. Honestly, this is just going to be pretty chill. I sort of just need to get out of my own head a little bit. I feel like I was less in my own head for Chicago than I am for this. And I don't know why DC has me so much in my own head, but it does. So let's just have some fun and do these pages. So on my list, I start with pens. So if you're new here, it's been a bit since I've talked about the list either way. I keep a running list all year long, and when I'm going to a pen show, I look over the list and see if what's on the list is still stuff I'm interested in. So there are a couple DC specific things. Currently I have DC specific things at the bottom of the list. I think I'm going to move them to the top of the list because they are actually high priorities and some other things aren't as high of a priority. So for that, let's use this. So this is a mini stub from Matthew Chen on a Heinz pen. So DC. DC specific. So there are 2 things that fall into this category for me. I think we're just sticking with the muted color palette. And for me, those 2 things are the Tono, I think it's Tono and Lens. Oh. Limbs. Custom ink. And the Pilot. if they have it. I do not know if they're going to have it this year. I would love to do it if they have it. I've heard a lot about it, and I think it sounds really cool, but I don't know that they're going to have it this year. And I actually think from there, we're going to go into maybe nib grinds. I'm leaning towards nib grinds being next. And my nib grinds for this show are short. If you saw my video a couple weeks ago, I got a whole bunch of nib grinds done at Chicago. And so I don't actually have that many things on my list currently. And I am going to leave quite a lot of space. I'm sure I'm going to add things over the next couple days. I'm sure I'm going to see things that I'm interested in. So I'm going to leave some space. Oh. And I have accidentally twisted the knob and I've gotten ink everywhere. That is the one thing that I dislike about piston pens, is because I'm fidgety and I do on occasion twist knobs when I fidget, I do tend to make a mess with them, as pretty as they are. I'm probably going to need to totally clean this cap. Yeah, there's not a small amount of ink in it, and I don't think I have tweezers. I don't think I've got Q-tips on my desk currently. All right, so let's do nib grinds down here, because I think there'll probably only be 3 or 4 other DC specific things. So I do not have nib appointments with anyone. When people's nib appointments were opening up, my show stuff was not confirmed yet, and so I did not get an appointment with anyone. That being said, if I can get a spot, I would love a Gina perspective, and I would love Kirk It is important to note, I do not have this Pelican Decimo section yet. I meant to order it from Gold Spot, and I forgot. So this is probably actually a next year thing, but this is on my list of next nib grinds. I would love a mini stub to go in this pen. I'm really loving it as an architect, but I think a mini stub would also be fun. But the only nib unit I have right now is a broad, and that's not going to work as a mini stub. So I need to get a nib unit to be turned into a mini stub. Other than that, I don't actually have any specific grinds on my list, and I'm open to suggestions. We're going to leave some space as well, and then we're going to get into loose nibs, is what I'm going to call them. There's still ink in this cap. I think there's going to be ink in this cap until I clean it properly, actually, most likely. So we'll just grab a nib towel. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Loose nibs. I have gone back and forth on Kirk's show nib, specifically what size to get it in this time. So for Chicago, I got it in a fine Yovo. I am getting something commissioned again, and it is coming with a Bach nib. And so I think what I'm actually going to do is get Kirk's show nib. Show nib. In broad, or I'm going to get it in a Yovo broad. Now, this depends on if I can get an appointment with Gina last minute. If I can't, then I will probably just get it in a fine. Or so it just depends on if I can get nib appointments with anyone. I'm unsure. Then we have AS MIT number 5 fine. I would really like a number 5 fine for this Colotino pen so that it can become a mini stub. And also so that then I've got a mini stub to put in other sized pocket pens. But really, I would like to be able to put a mini stub in my Colotino. So I guess that's also going on this list, is a Colotino mini stub. Then there's one more nib, and I've put it down twice in 2 different sizes because I have this lovely pen that was a Gold Spot exclusive from Leonardo. This is the Bella de Notte, and you'll notice that mine is currently nibless. I got mine in an elastic fine, which is their version of a flex, and I really didn't like it. I loved everything about the pen except the nib. It's a very me pen. It's atrociously sparkly. It's super fun. I just didn't like the nib. So what I've decided to do is replace the nib, and the easiest way to replace the nib is actually to take it to DC where Leonardo is going to be. And I just keep going back and forth on if I'm replacing it with a medium or a fine. We'll have to see. I'm still not 100% set. It might also just be whatever they have in rose gold that I end up replacing it with. So we'll have to see what they actually have in stock. So this is a draw number 6 rose gold fine or medium. There aren't actually that many loose nibs that I'm interested in because I do have a pretty good nib selection. I did do a nib order from Gold Spot before the Chicago Pen Show, and so I will be packing my nib kits. I will be packing spare things in case I do manage to get walk-in appointments with anybody. I think that's probably not going to happen, but you never know. And we'll just have to see. Next up is it paper? I think it's paper. I still have paper on this list, and I don't actually know that I need paper because I still have quite the stash from Chicago from the lovely team over at Luxury Brands. So I'm going to skip paper for now. I'm going to go to pens, and we might come back to paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do here. Pens. My pen list is long. I'm going to say that off the top. My pen list is long, and actually as we sit here, I'm going to take couple things off of it, I think. And I have to decide if I'm adding, we'll say I've already ordered 2 somethings. So I have to decide if I'm adding those to this list. I think I should because they are technically DC things. So why don't we start with those 2? So to start with, we have the shown faceted pocket 6 in blue. I don't actually know what its full name is. I just know that it's the color blue. The other purchase I've already made, and it's so extra, but I bought it nearly entirely on credit, and so it's far less painful, is a Visconti Homo Sap En in Iris Gardens that will need nothing done to it. Then we have an Esterbrook Lilac. I would like to see this in person. I'd like to see lilac in person, and I'd like to see blueberry in person. I just want to know what they look like. I'm not sure that I like them. I just need to see them. The Esterbrook Botanical Garden. We have, and for most of these Esterbrookes, they're just things I want to see in person again. I've seen them at a show before. I saw them at Chicago. It's been a minute though, and I just want to look at them in person again and see if they're actually something I genuinely want to be saving up affiliate credit for, or if I'm happy to pass on them. And with these Esterbrookes, I have a feeling it's probably one of them that will end up coming home with me at some point. And so it's the Esterbrook SD Nouveau Blue. I do know that I will be coming home with some version of this next pen because this next pen is a new Pixie V2. So I have a Benu Pixie V1, and there are definitely some things that I don't absolutely love about it. It takes a lot of twists to uncap, and mine doesn't post particularly well. And apparently they fixed that in V2. So I am excited to get my hands on a V2 and just see how different it is and see if they're any, like, are they worth it as a pocket pen? I do have a lot of pocket pens I like. Currently my favorite pocket pen though is the Colotino, and it is 150 USD, which is much more expensive than the Benu Pixie. So I'm interested to see how the V2 compares to the V1. On the loose nibs front, I don't think I'm going to see it at the show. I'm going to add it anyways. I would like the 0.05 Tom's Studio nib and the Tom's brush nib for FPs. I discovered this last night that Tom Studio makes a brush nib that screws into a fountain pen. It's got a fountain pen feet attached to it. I need to try this thing. It's weird and odd, and I would really like to get my hands on one. We're gonna leave more space for pen stuff than anything else. Oh, I would also like to see a Sailor Pro Gear Mini. I just want to see one. I want to see one. I want to hold one. I want to try one. I would just want to see what they sort of are like. I really like my other Sailors, and I am a fan of a smaller size of pen. I did get to try one at the Toronto Pen Shop event a couple weeks ago, but I would like to try one for a little bit longer. So let's go on to inks. Are any of these inks still on my list? I think the answer is no. Yeah, I don't think any of these inks are still on my list. Are any of them? I should have looked these up before, you know, doing this. But that's a shimmer. I'm sort of like, I love shimmer inks, but like I'm not big into shimmer inks currently. I think Jane Eyre might be the only one still on my list. And maybe White Rabbit. Yeah, I think it's Jane Eyre and White Rabbit. And maybe Lennon Toolbar Dream. Is Lennon Toolbar Dream the pink? It is the pink. Okay. It's interesting to see, like, I haven't looked at this list since Chicago, other than to add stuff to it. And so it's interesting to see what changes in a couple months. We're gonna leave space for pens. I'm sure there's gonna be stuff between now and then that I'm gonna go, oh, that's really cool. And we're also gonna add, for the first time ever, a blanks section. DC has a lot more blank makers, it seems, than any other show. And there are a couple blanks that I am very into wanting to see in person. EYRE and keeled white bit. Gentle. Lemon Toolbar Dream. What's this color from Visconti? Because I don't recognize its name. I just deleted it. Instead of looking it up. Is it a brown? Yeah, color here. Oh, it's a gray. I was on a gray kick for a while. Oh yeah, no, I do still like that. All right, so Visconti. Vineyard with a Peasant woman. there any other inks that are currently on my list? I don't know if anything is actually currently on my list other than these 4, 5. Because like there are always things I like. There are always things that I enjoy looking at. There are very few colors that I actually constantly ink up. So we're gonna leave it there. And then we'll go into, I guess, cases. I'm gonna leave more room after inks. Something tells me I'm gonna need it. There are a couple things in the cases world currently. I, at the top of my list, have the Rickshaw X Sugar Turtle. I realize I can get these pens out of my elbow space. Studio Crayon Box Fillmore. I'm obsessed with it. There's no reason for me to love it as much as I do, but I am obsessed with it. So it has made my list. I think it is going to be the first like rickshaw purchase I make. I think all the rickshaw sleeves I have to this point have been like gifts with pens. And so I've never actually bought a rickshaw case, which just seems wrong. But I've never found one that I've utterly adored. And I feel like with the price point they're at, you do need to find one you really, really like. And so I am very happy to have found this crayon box one. I do really want to see it in person before I buy it. So I'm grateful they're going to have them at the show. The other thing is, I don't know if Rickshaw does a DC show sleeve, but I would really like that if they do one. Because I have that past 2 years DC sleeve, and it's just sort of a tradition at this point. And Endless has just come out with a new Sugar Plum. Leather color called Sugar Plum. And I do want to see it next to my Crazy Horse Navy Blue from Galen before I buy something in it. But I am thinking about the single pen sleeve that they have done just for when I'm traveling with a single more expensive pen that I just don't want to throw loose into my bag, like my Mont Blanc or something similar. There are moments that like I just don't want to put it loose in my purse, and I do like the color of it, so I do want to see it in person. I would also really like something small in Galen Leather Natural. I am sort of in love with it, but I also feel like before I get anything in it that's big, I need to see how it wears over time. And I think the easiest way to do that is by just getting something small myself and, you know, daily driving it for a little bit. There is one thing on my list in cases that is not readily available anymore, and that is an Esterbrook. To go cup in navy or magenta. Now, I don't think I'm going to find either of these new. I don't actually care about finding them new. I just don't really like the current colors and would really like to get the older colors that I like more. And so that's what I'm going to try and do. And finally, we have what I'm referring to as random. And there are many things on this random category, so it's actually going to flip over to the next page as well. And I'm going to need a sheet of blotting paper, which I don't think I have on this desk for whatever reason. This is like all the stuff that I feel like I overlook at a pen show normally, but I do genuinely really like and sort of need day to day. So to start with, we have a thing that I've been meaning to get for a year plus now, which is the Shown Design Pen Cleaning Tools. I hate cleaning pens, and Ian has come up with a solution to fix that problem, and they are coming home with me. Oh, pen. I would really like the Farney's Retro 51 2025 exclusive. It's very pretty. And I tried to convince Drew to bring me one in Chicago, and he wouldn't. So now I need one now. The other thing that I've wanted for a very long time, and we've never been at the same pen show, is something that Vanessa, I believe, owns the patent to or is now the manufacturer of. And that is a product called White Lightning, which improves the flow of fountain pen inks. People have talked about it on 20 Questions, and we've talked about it on Desk Chatter before, and I've never been able to get my hands on it. And so I'm hoping they're bringing some to the show so that I can actually pick some up, because I do think it would be really helpful to just have some around. I would also really like to check if the new Endless small leather desk pads fit in my Galen leather expansive folio. I think they should based on online measurements, but for whatever reason I didn't buy one at Chicago, and I wonder if I didn't buy one because it didn't fit in my folio, though I think it would be super helpful to have when traveling. So I'm actually going to try again at DC and see if it fits in my folio. So, Endless. Is it Endless? I keep calling them Endless, and I'm now realizing that maybe they're not called Endless. Because it's not called Endless anymore. It's Girolojo, but if you look on... That's my problem. I was like, this feels wrong. Because Endless is the paper and the ink line. Girolojo. Small desk pad. I just think it would be really useful to have one, especially if it does fit in my folio. Though I think online they still only have the large versions. Yeah, they still only have the large versions online. I saw the small version somewhere at Chicago, and I just don't remember who had them. I would also really like Luxury Brand sells ink coasters. which, as I tend to use the product that Tori from Stationery Universe created when I'm home, but it's ceramic. So on the go, I would like to be able to throw an ink coaster into my folio, just so that if I'm ever inking it from a sample well away from my desk, I have something. And finally on this, oh no, I've got two more. The Esterbrook clips. And I would really like the Lumos loop. Now, they're impossible to get pretty much anywhere. I requested one of the stores that's local to me to pre-order one back when they first announced them, and they were unable to, and they seem to be impossible to get your hands on currently, which is frustrating. The pen's not that big and it seems pretty easy to lose. Right now it's still living in my single pen sleeve from Galen, but I would really like to get my hands on the loop so that I can just like attach it to something. So hopefully somebody at Chicago has that, and I get to do that. There is, I feel like there's another ink up here that I am interested in. It's from Colorverse. I think it's a brown. Ah, Coffee Break. It's called Coffee Break. What does it actually swatch out as, though? I don't know that I've ever seen. Somebody swatch it. I've got other inks in that series, though, that I really like. Oh, I think it swatches too orange. I would like a really dark, dark brown. Oh, there was an ink from Bungo Box that I liked. I forget what number it is. But Shannon from Couture Pens and I were looking at Bungo Box a couple nights ago. And I came across one that I did really like. I wonder what number, what color it was. I'll have to go through their website. English. Online store. Fountain pen inks. It's called Ink of the Witch. Ink of the Witch. I didn't know they made pigment inks as well. Their iron gall inks are intriguing. Has anyone actually tried them? Like the marine blue iron gall is really pretty. Let's go on the list too. See, this is why I can't make this list and online shop at the same time. It's not a good combination. Because now we're adding a third Bungo boxing to this list. There we go. All right. I'm sure stuff is gonna be added. I'm sure stuff is gonna change in the next couple days on this list. But for now, here's where we're at. Many of these things are things I just want to see in person. I think it's very unlikely we come home with more than 1 or 2 inks from this list. I think from Chicago, we didn't actually check off any of the inks on my list. I came home with a lot of inks, but none were on my list. I sort of use this as a blueprint. I sort of don't. It depends on the show. And right now, it's very much sort of like shopping, but also things to look at. There, shopping / look at. I do love this pen. I loved it before. I adore it now that it's got a music nib in it. I think a Sailor music nib might actually take the cake as my favorite nib from Sailor. So here we go. There's where we're at a couple days out from DC. There is, as far as I know, still no map for the DC show, which does make it hard to plan. Yeah, there's still no map. I find it hard to plan if there's no map. So hopefully they get a map soon-ish, and that'll make it easier, because until there's a map, it's just sort of awkward to plan. You don't really know where everyone's going to be and everything like that. So hopefully they release the map in the next day or two, because normally, like, I also do like a color-coded map thing and have the map taped onto this like front page so that it folds out, so like when I'm on the show floor, I can just unfold a map from my traveler's notebook. And like that needs to happen before I get on a flight to DC. So hopefully it comes out in the next day or two. And I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to let me know if down below if you're coming to DC. This is my first year going to DC, and I am both excited and scared. Let's be honest, I'm both excited and scared, but I think it should be a good time, and I am very excited to see all my friends again. So I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.